In August 1860, Eliza Winston entered a Hennepin County courtroom seeking her freedom. Eliza's case remains the only known instance of an enslaved person winning freedom through a Minnesota court.
Eliza Winston was a woman who was enslaved from her birth in 1817 until her emancipation in 1860. Throughout her enslavement, she tried to negotiate with her enslavers on terms of becoming free. They would renege on their promises or they would fail to follow through on it. Like when Eliza was on an errand in Minneapolis, she met a free African American woman named Emily Gray. So when Eliza told Emily her story, Emily said, "Well, I know people, I can help you." And they developed a plan to use the legal system. First, to have a writ of habeas corpus, which allows a prisoner to protest their imprisonment. Judge Vandenberg agreed to the writ, arrested Eliza for the purpose of bringing her to the courthouse, where she pleaded her case for freedom, which was pretty much open and shut because by then, in 1860, Minnesota had been a free state for 3 years.
It's a story of networking that began long before she reached Minnesota shores, and the multiple people that she touches who are willing to be invested in the process of trying to help her win her freedom.
While the court recognized Eliza's freedom, it was achieved because neighbors stood up for neighbors to affirm her freedom and dignity, which is a story that we in Minnesota can stand in solidarity with.
We say history does repeat itself, it echoes. That echoes either an invocation or an indictment.
People relate to her as someone who was very resourceful and who tried to make the most out of her enslavement while pursuing freedom at the same time, just being resilient and relentless.
It is it. The way that we tell the story in and of itself invites us to believe that people who had no skin in the game got upset about what was happening, as opposed to the people who had skin in the game who got riled up because they had something very real to lose. Folks get very comfortable saying, let's stop at the part where Eliza Winston walked away free and she lived in Detroit and then she went to Canada and we're good. And so what ends up happening is I think about Nina Simone, Mississippi, goddamn. The sites that she's talking about in that song that correspond to the very places that Eliza Winston touched. Alabama's got me so upset. Tennessee made me lose my rest, but everybody knows about Mississippi, goddamn. Wow. Like almost 150 years later, we're still talking about those same sites, but then we fail to talk about the Minnesotas, the Connecticut's, the Oklahomas, and that space, and we created that a false economy that somehow these places are immune from those poisons and toxins in ways that aren't helpful.
I think a lot of it is about what the professor was talking about is trying to preserve that mythology of what America is or is purported to be. All of those changes require great sacrifice. And so oftentimes the person that wins the freedom or wins the gains in civil rights isn't the one that really gets to enjoy the fruits of that labor. It's people that come after them.